basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Warriors have a good young core and players like Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga could blossom into stars in the future. But there is a problem with this. The Warriors want to be champions now to give Stephen Curry his 5th title. And in order to get a high-level star who would make the Warriors a favorite for the championship, the Warriors will need to get rid of their promising young players. There is a possibility that the Warriors could get Giannis Antetokounmpo, but the Bucks star would need to ask for a trade and express his desire to join Stephen Curry. And also provided that they send Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga as part of the trade package. Of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo would raise the level of the Warriors and make a powerful duo with Stephen Curry. Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga will be sent to the Bucks if Giannis Antetokounmpo asks to be traded. The Golden State Warriors are one of the many teams that are interested in the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes. Since the news came out that Giannis Antetokounmpo would be interested in a move away from the Milwaukee Bucks, multiple teams have entered trade talks for him. After losing in the second round of the playoffs, the Golden State Warriors have also been thrown into the mix of multiple teams that could be trade destinations for Antetokounmpo. Although the two-time MVP expressed his interest in leaving, he still has 2 years left on his Bucks contract. However, ESPN's Brian Windhorst has confirmed the trade could very much happen, but under one condition. Warriors have the assets to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Steph Curry's injury made it very difficult for the Warriors to win in the second round against the Timberwolves. This has led to reports emerging of the team going into the offseason, trying to make trades for players that can make a difference. They have the players that they can use in a trade, but the Dubs will need Antetokounmpo to be on board if they are to bring him to Bay Area, according to Windhorst. He said, "Could they trade for Giannis? Yes. But the only way I see it is if Giannis says, I am only going there. And the Bucks could play hardball. They don't have to do it because he's got 2 years left on his contract. They can't win a bidding war," he added. Tim Bontemps also made a strong point on the Warriors having the assets needed for Antetokounmpo. While the LA Lakers are another team who might be interested in the Bucks star, he believes they do not have a deal that could help them land him. Bontemps said, "The Warriors have several first-round picks, they have Jonathan Kuminga, they have Brandon Podziemski, you can concoct a trade of a bunch of assets, who knows they could put Jimmy in a trade. Again, they have a bunch of things they could do," before pointing out that the Lakers do not. Giannis Antetokounmpo could be a great fit with the Warriors. Antetokounmpo is one of the most consistent players in the NBA, who has averaged over 30 points 3 seasons in a row now. Despite his dominance, the Bucks have struggled in the playoffs, with no trips outside the first round for 3 years. Antetokounmpo has been clear he wants to compete for championships, but the Bucks' recent struggles have led to him slowly losing faith in the franchise's ability to help him get to his second ring. They do not have a roster that is strong enough to compete, and are also very limited in assets. On the other hand, the Warriors are a side that is stacked with players like Curry and Jimmy Butler leading the way for them. Steve Kerr will have to find a way to get the duo playing together, but even with that, an addition of a star like Antetokounmpo seems important. They will have to trade their young players like Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski, but even after that, having Curry alongside the Greek Freak will make the Dubs championship favorites. A deal is going to be tough to negotiate, as the Bucks will want a big haul for their star, but if the Warriors manage to pair him alongside Curry, they could do something special as both players have the ability to win games all by themselves. Warriors player voices desire to play forever with Stephen Curry and invites other stars to join him, a lot of sacrifice but. The Golden State Warriors season concluded with a disappointing second-round exit, falling to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. As off-season rumors begin swirling around the franchise, sharpshooting guard Buddy Hield has made his intentions clear. He wants to stay in San Francisco for the foreseeable future. Performance against Thunder. During his postseason interview, Hield expressed his happiness with the Warriors organization and his strong desire to continue playing alongside Stephen Curry, whom he views as instrumental to both his personal growth and the team's success. "I want to be around here forever. Buddy Hield commits his future with Steph Curry and the Warriors. You see the value of spacing for this team. You know that can't be Steph one out there, and you see how they play me in Minnesota's series when he was not there, Hield explained, highlighting the offensive dynamics that make Golden State's system special. The 31-year-old shooter emphasized how his skill set complements the Warriors' needs. The value of his space and his shooting is much needed in this league and for this team. So I want to be around here forever. I mean until I'm not needed. The Warriors' struggles without Curry were painfully evident in the playoffs, as they went 0-4 in games their superstar point guard missed with a hamstring injury. The Warriors' sharpshooter baffled by stars avoiding Golden State opportunity. Beyond his personal commitment, Hield expressed bewilderment at why more NBA players don't actively seek to join Golden State's roster and play alongside Curry. I don't see why guys don't want to play with a guy like Steph. That gravitates so much attention, and all defensive players like Draymond can clean up a lot for your defense, Hield remarked. He continued advocating for the Warriors system. I don't see why players around the league don't want to come here and play. It's a fun deal. It's a lot of sacrifice, but it's a fine sacrifice. Hield's contract situation provides stability amid offseason uncertainty. Hield joined the Warriors last offseason as part of the complex multi-team sign-and trade that sent Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks. His contract includes at least 2 more guaranteed years before a player option for the 2027-28 season. During his first campaign with Golden State, Hield averaged 11.1 points while shooting an impressive 41.7% from the field and 47% from beyond the arc. While the Warriors are expected to explore various roster moves this summer, Hield's commitment and contract situation suggest he could remain part of their core as they attempt to maximize Curry's remaining prime years. Warriors needs to let go of the past in quest for another championship. As we slowly glide toward the NBA offseason, the Golden State Warriors have a tough decision to make. Jonathan Kuminga is scheduled to hit restricted free agency. His inconsistent role with the franchise has raised questions regarding the viability of retaining him long-term. The problem is that the Warriors are an aging team and Kuminga is arguably their most talented young player. Steve Kerr's willingness to risk losing Kuminga has been baffling, especially as his athleticism gives Golden State a different dimension when he's on the court. Golden State is trying to win another championship. It wants to send Stephen Curry and Draymond Green into retirement with 5 championship rings. However, it runs the risk of being blinded by that goal. After all, neither Curry nor Green is the player they once were. They need youthful talent to help carry them through the grueling marathon that is an NBA season. Kuminga is the only one on that bench that's explosive, Charles Barkley said on TNT's post-game show on May 14. You can't go to war with 3 old guys against the West. He was the only guy out there where you can say, he can play with these Minnesota Timberwolves guys. If the Warriors want to taste success before Curry and Green bow out of the league, they've got to let go of their past. Accepting that what worked previously won't work now is the first step toward figuring things out. Get better, Jonathan Kuminga reveals what Steve Kerr told him in Golden State Warriors exit interview. Golden State Warriors star Jonathan Kuminga was a hot topic across the Golden State Warriors exit interviews. After delaying a decision on Jonathan Kuminga's contract last season, the Golden State Warriors will have to make a move this summer one way or another. The Warriors are being tipped to enact a sign and trade scenario for Jonathan Kuminga, but this is a decision which will be made closer to free agency. For now, the Warriors are digesting their NBA playoffs exit to the Minnesota Timberwolves, where Kuminga ended up playing a surprisingly prominent role after the injury to Steph Curry. Jonathan Kuminga on what Steve Kerr told him in exit interview. The Golden State Warriors have said their goodbyes for the season and met the press to answer questions. Kuminga was quizzed by reporters about his conversation with coach Steve Kerr, and admitted he has to hold further walks with the organization about plans on and off the court. He explained, "It's going to take us time to figure it out what's really going to happen, things like that. And I spoke to Steve about how he wanted me to just get better at rebounding more. I feel like I was doing better before I got hurt. And I like where he was going with it. He explained to me little things. While former NBA star Charles Oakley believes Kuminga needs to be traded for his own sake, and his relationship with Steve Kerr has been questioned, the player insists he is full of reverence for the Warriors head coach. He said, "Since I've been here, we've had ups and downs, you know. But he helped me to get here and we got a lot of great moments. I think our relationship been very good." Steve Kerr had long response on Jonathan Kuminga. Steve Kerr was asked about Jonathan Kuminga before his postseason wrap, and he had a lot to say, admitting that the player had struggled to fit in. "I thought he had a really good year. He was really coming into his own before he got hurt. The injury really hurt him. When he came back from the injury, he was not in rhythm. He was not the same player he was when he got hurt. So that put kind of a little bit of an obstacle in our way as we're trying to get to the playoffs and advance in the playoffs. It felt square peg, round hole for us. We obviously went away from JK as part of the rotation, and he handled it really well. For him to stay ready, stay positive, and then get his chance and play well in those last 4 games of the Minnesota series speaks highly of JK and his approach. All in all, he's a guy who's got a lot of talent and a lot of ability. Still growing, still raw in many ways, but a lot of what we have to figure out is roster construction and the combination. Basketball is always a 5-man game, and combinations were tricky, they just were. Kerr admitted that it was not all on Kuminga and the Warriors staff need to work out how to use him, in the event he stays. That decision will fit into wider discussions about how the franchise improves their roster. We've got to do a better job as a staff of figuring out some things, how we're going about our business. JK's got things to improve on. We've got to improve our roster all in all. Those are all the things that we're thinking about right now." Golden State Warriors nearly traded Draymond Green for an unbelievable package. Draymond Green has been a featured face of the Golden State Warriors for years, but the latest intel out of San Francisco has revealed that the 4X champion was nearly traded to the Grizzlies for an unexpected return. Reportedly, the Warriors were in the final stages of giving up Draymond in a swap for Steven Adams, Dillon Brooks, and Tyus Jones. There was a deal in place, in summer 2023, to send Draymond to Memphis. In that trade, Steven Adams would have come back to Golden State along with Dillon Brooks and Tyus Jones, said Logan Murdoch on the Zach Lowe Show. The reason why that deal fell through is because Tyus Jones got rerouted to Washington, in the Porzingis-Marcus Smart trade. The offseason has officially begun for the Warriors after a second-round defeat to the Minnesota Timberwolves. With Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry, they'll be looking to add to their supporting cast this summer, but options are limited on the trade front. Recently, some Warriors fans have even been calling for a Draymond Green trade. And while Dre is not currently on the market, the Warriors have already tried to get rid of him in the past. The reported trade negotiations with the Grizzlies happened only 2 years ago, in the summer of 2023. Fresh off an elimination to the Lakers in the conference semifinals, the Warriors knew they needed to mix things up to stay competitive in the final stretch of Stephen Curry's career. After winning 4 championships and a Defensive Player of the Year, Golden State did not want to trade Draymond, but something had to give for a team with one of the highest payrolls in the NBA. Of course, nobody would have expected the Warriors to deal with one of their biggest rivals at the time. Just a year prior, the Warriors and Grizzlies met in a brutal second-round series, and things got downright personal between Draymond, Dillon Brooks, and the other Grizzlies players. Whatever the Warriors saw in that series, it was enough to convince them that they'd be better off with Dillon Brooks, Tyus Jones, and Steven Adams over Draymond Green. While Brooks brings the defense and toughness that Green provides, he's not nearly the same kind of playmaker, and he doesn't have any built-up chemistry with Steph. The same could be said for Steven Adams. As much as his size and strength would help the Warriors' frontcourt, he's not nearly as versatile as Draymond, who can play and defend all 5 positions on the court. Today, with Brooks on the Rockets and Tyus Jones on the Suns, it's already too late for the Warriors to revisit that trade, but they're probably better off with Draymond anyway.